The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Greetings, and greetings again. Welcome to this moment here. You know me, Crystal Davis Wells, Wednesday's Woman. But today is our Sunday platform, and we have some distinguished and beautiful guests in studio today. I think we've got a record for this year of how many is actually in studio. And you can possibly tell that I'm not there. I am in the beautiful city of Las Vegas, but I'm holding up the light, meaning I am traveling, getting the word out about what we're doing here. And the brothers in the studio are going to very much put it down. They're going to put the nails in the foundation and let it be known what we're building and what we're looking for to complete that building and make it great. So right now we're going to have a little music, just a little opening music of Do You Understand? I told them about 15 seconds. They may have to scoot it up some, but 15 seconds, 15, 20 seconds. And then we're going to come right into TJ Lofton and our brother Michael Rendler. All right. So we'll be back after this little short music interlude, get you in the mood. And then we're going to have Brother TJ and Brother Michael take it away. Is that all right? All right. Thank you so much.
Crystal, you're muted. Unmute yourself, Crystal. We don't hear you.
Boy, you got something in here making noise.
Crystal, you're muted still.
Okay, Dion.
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, so we're back. Hopefully you all enjoyed that music that's available. And that's one of our tracks from a few years ago. But we were going into our brother's conversation, TJ Lofton, and I want to say we have crossed paths again after maybe 7 years or so. We hadn't seen each other, but I was the one that was able to be instrumental in this brother's broadcasting and production career, being a host and now a producer and just a world traveler as well, doing his wonderful work. So he's going to talk about some things that is also familiar with our team, especially with Brother Michael Rendler sitting next to him. Brother TJ is going to cover some things that Michael, I'm sure, is going to be very thrilled to hear and talk about how this connection comes together under our collaborative works that we have going on. So here we go.
Oh. What do you want me to tell you who I am, what I do? I'm TJ.
Well, just that would be a great one. And then talk about some of the things that we were talking about as it relates to getting the programs into the schools and primarily those areas that have been, deemed as underserved areas. We want to get some of the programs that you have been so successful with over the years. And then, like I was saying, some of the other things that deal with housing and real estate, those areas are right in the line of what we're dealing with now. And Michael Rendler, as I said, sitting there, will be able to chime in, and we'll have some other brothers that'll chime in too as well when we do a little Q&A. So just give us a little brief overview, and then we'll keep it moving.
Okay, well, I started off as a celebrity car builder, building classic cars, lowriders, custom cars, shipping them around the world, putting them in rap videos, movies, TV shows, etc. So in the process of restoring those cars, I realized that the city decided that they didn't like us anymore, because we had paint shops, transmission shops, muffler shops. We used a lot of commercial real estate, and a lot of that stuff that we were requiring was vacant. Nothing was really happening here in Compton, LA, and Watts. So we started buying a lot of buildings, renting a lot of buildings, etc. And I noticed that all of a sudden the city decided that it didn't like us anymore. And they were doing, just black business, period. They were going after people, giving them fines and tickets, and city was popping up in people's businesses, the beauty salons, the barbershops, impounding our trucks, giving my tow truck drivers tickets, etc. And I realized that we started having, big corporations moving into Los Angeles, into Compton, et cetera, Hawthorne, et cetera. And the dynamics of real estate started changing. So, like I come to find out, the Olympics was coming, and I think I found out SpaceX was around the corner. And I just realized things is about to change and change fast because most people are not talking about it. It just started happening. Real estate prices started going up. So I was told I needed to travel around the country. I start speaking about this is like gentrification because they're not telling anyone what's happening or even talking about it. I never heard the word gentrification come up. So when I brought up the word, it kind of like roused a lot of feathers, upset some people, and most people said, "What is that? What is that? What does that mean?" So eventually I was told I needed to travel across the country. So I started traveling and hit 26 states of African American communities underserved, our HBCUs in Atlanta, Alabama, et cetera. And I saw how the real estate just wasn't happening in those cities. I saw people moving out of California, selling their real estate, moving to Georgia, et cetera. But then I remember when I think Donald Trump came in, he said he's putting sanctions on China and tariffs on the rest of these countries. So when he said that, I started noticing corporations moving in.
Okay.
I started noticing a lot of large corporations moving in and the real estate going up. Like Ford moved into Mason, Tennessee, small African-American town in Tennessee. And it's been a nightmare out there. They kicked out all the black politicians. The city from another city came in and, Alabama had 4 car manufacturers moving in. Georgia has a lot of car manufacturers moving in. So all over the country, we got large corporations moving in, real estate changing, and it just hadn't been talked about in our community. So that's when I wrote one book and it became a bestseller talking about what was happening. And then all of a sudden, a lot of new laws changed. A lot of new laws started coming in. I think opportunity zones came in. So I started writing about that. And then here comes the second best-selling book. And I started speaking. And, they took the car builder and me and converted me from a car builder to a real estate guy and said I'm the foremost expert in the country on gentrification because I had been to over 26 states researching all the land development going on around the country, and seeing the things. And I noticed that in our communities, the politicians wasn't talking about it. They seemed to not be aware of it, but they knew. But I noticed the schools didn't know anything about it. So I started working on curriculums and creating relationships with the schools. I became an advisor to the Compton School District as well as the Inglewood School District. And I remember they ran into the problems when the Rams came in. I started talking about problems that they're going to foresee in the future. Sure enough, the Rams ended up buying one of their, I think they got some of the high school's land. Now they practice on it, I believe. And it's just a lot of things I found out, so I became a coach, an advisor, and I started creating classes, trying to get them into schools. So I spoke at Clark Atlanta, I spoke at USC. I've been all over the country speaking at schools, just updating people and telling them what's going on because it seems like most people don't know. That's it I can think of. Anything else? There's so much more I can talk all day, honestly. Other than the car industry booming, I've been trying to get, that's my purpose for coming out and starting to speak was the classic car industry has gotten so big that, I was painting. I remember when cars got to $900 to paint, I decided to start a paint shop about $1,500. And then all of a sudden, by the time I was at 10 grand, I decided I need to start traveling and speaking about the topic of the rapidly car prices going up rapidly. And currently right now, the prices to paint a car is at $50,000 to paint a car the way I like it. And the cars that I used to sell for $30,000 are now going for about $300,000 or $400,000. So I went over to my local schools, and we got the trades put back in at Centennial High School. I went up to LA Trade Tech, talked with them, just everybody. I've been all over the place. We got Compton College. They put a bunch of classes in that I talked about, powder coating, fabrication, sandblasting, etc. And we ended up getting Centennial High School and Dominguez High School updated, fully state of the art. And that pathwayed into eventually tearing down Compton High School and rebuilding it. And then we're going to tear down Centennial after that. So it's just a lot of things I've been working on. And, but I would like to see this stuff happening all over the country. I know, it's a lot of stuff. Go ahead. Crystal. Oh, okay. I guess I'll keep talking. Yeah, it's a lot of things going on. So I've been strongly urging schools to put the trades back in because, as a construction guy, I'm a land developer as well. I build houses. I do a lot of construction stuff in my spare time for my own personal properties. And I noticed there's not enough people to do the work. And I remember, again, Trump came in and said he's going to put a fence up. He's going to put a wall up. And that meant to me he's going to lock out affordable labor. So that meant there's going to be a lot of opportunity for construction. So, again, I'm at the school saying we need more construction to be taught. These kids need to know how to work on this because everybody I know that's in development is making money hand over fist. It's scary, all the amounts of money being spent, I went out to Georgia and the dynamics was kind of different. I'm used to just buying a piece of dirt and building a house. But when I went to Georgia, we needed more surveyors. We need people that can test the soil. And, it was just so much stuff so much language that most people didn't know anything about, using heavy equipment to knock down some trees. We need people to cut down trees, that knows how to get in contact with the city and find out which trees can we cut down and not cut down. It was just so much stuff that was happening in the South versus in the West Coast. So I've been all over the place. North Carolina, I went out there looking at investments and, they flew me out there to go look at some houses that some of my clients wanted to buy. And then I realized, I said, they're building a brand new freeway. They're expanding a freeway coming from all the way from near Florida, all the way up, going through, going all the way up to north.
A lot of construction. A lot of construction. I know we've been having some technical difficulties here. And what I was saying, okay, Michael, chime in there because I know some of the things that TJ has just explained and what you've experienced being an architect and working within the school system in the college district. I want to hear from you and I want to see how you all could really find a common ground for putting some work together. Okay. He did mention trade tech, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Michael.
He did. That was fantastic. Yeah, it's really an honor to be with TJ here, talking about solutions and observations and the magnitude of change that has happened in a very quick time under this term gentrification. And how, he talked a lot about big corporations, but it's really public-private. It's really about how they're using public money with private development to actually displace a whole population of at-risk youth and at-risk families in an economy that's booming, and it's really tragic. And so our work that we've been doing for the last 10 years in Los Angeles specifically and across the United States has been with HUD, Housing and Urban Development, and with a specific project called the STEM Innovation Network. That project is headed up by Gerald Bennett, and the idea is that the military of America can no longer accept labor. They need knowledge workers. The technology has become so advanced in the defense of the United States that they no longer can just go to public housing projects and grab kids and bring them into the military. It's actually a public hazard. And saying that, we also have a huge sociological problem that has put 3,500 public housing projects in a state of disrepair. So all of this transition is going to have to happen with the population, not against the population. So our work, E7 Architecture Studio, is about how do you actually advance a legitimate inclusion process. And I think TJ is talking about the school districts being kind of the focal point of what that looks like. I've come at it a little differently. I've come at it from something called the neighborhood councils. Those were put in place with Obama around the idea of the smallest form of governance and getting people to actually understand what's happening so they can take advantage of all of these different initiatives across the United States. And towards that, we've written a book. Our studio wrote a book, Terrestrial Architecture, that looks at a fully integrated system down into the neighborhood. And we piloted the project from a project I did with the community college districts. E7 Architecture Studio built a simulation of all 9 campuses, and we won an international award, not necessarily just because it was the largest geospatial model built in the world, but because we built it with at-risk students. So we made a proof of concept that the capabilities in technology are not even being challenged with our underserved at-risk population. And I got validation from the federal government with the project because it won an international award as the most innovative project in government in about 2015. I've taken that concept and said we need to build smart cities with smart citizens in a smart way. And to do that, this population is the most innovative population on the planet. It's been well documented in history. And they also have the highest, what's called spatial acuity. This has also been well documented. Our existing educational system segregates language and math. But the truth of the matter is what TJ is talking about, repairing cars, building buildings, fixing cities. These are spatial acuities. And as an architect with technology, we're in a completely new paradigm. And we feel very confidently that all of these 3,500 public housing projects could actually be transitioned like Jordan Downs from the population themselves, just like he's talking about repairing cars and building classic cars. They used to do this in their garages. They used to do it seat of the pants, if you will. And in that is a term called innovation. And that's why I started with this group that we formed across the United States called the STEM Innovation Network. Innovation sits at the core of the entire narrative. And a lot of the school districts don't really understand what innovation is because they have policies, procedures, methodologies to actually approve the transition of curriculum. And so I've been at this 25 years. I proved that the capabilities are unmatched and that every city in the United States, as TJ is talking about, have a demand of transitioning to a different environmental, sociological narrative. And to do that, we need to be able to bring that transition space into the community through these innovation labs, STEM labs, high-performance computing centers. And there's a piece of this that has to do with the high-speed rail. And the high-speed rail ends up being a prototype for how we actually can develop communities and bring a new 20-minute city that actually is a healthy city, that actually is an inclusive city, that actually looks at, a term called ESG, environmental social governance. And that S word is the social piece of us being able to de-escalate violence. And I use that very clear because we've been working with a group in Los Angeles, and this came out of PV Jobs, which was formed by Brad Carson, a probation officer. Give me a job and you stop a bullet. And so we're connecting all of the dots. And I'm grateful for Crystal to invite me to be part of this conversation with TJ, because it's very clear with the work we've done in Las Vegas, the work we've done in Atlanta, the work we've done in Kansas City. And we get right to the front line and talk to the mayors and show the mayors and show how these are the way that you operate your cities to be environmental, to be inclusive. And we get pushback because there's two terms, transparency and accountability. And if we can bring that at a technological level to our communities, exactly what TJ is talking about, school districts being transparent, curriculum being transparent, families being involved, having the expertise and the leadership and the mentorship from the community itself. And they define the projects, and they do what's called the shared governance, which is what we talked about with the community college district, why we built a simulation of 12 million square feet to 1/8 of an inch. And that's why we won an international award. And we are going to have the Olympics in Los Angeles, and our mayor, Karen Bass, has already stated there'll be no access to any venue unless it's through public transportation. And saying that, we need to really make sure those systems operate correctly and safely for the population. And this is all predictive performance modeling through simulation technology. And that's something I know a lot about. And I believe that all of these things are possible and have been proven. And now thank you, Crystal, for putting together this talk with TJ, because it's now at the point where we will be able to show conclusively through the 120 Envision centers that we wrote in to HUD 5 years ago, and those now connected to the infrastructure bill, which is $1.4 trillion, which is tied to a Justice 40 narrative. And that Justice 40 narrative is 40% of those resources are to benefit specific targeted census tract disadvantaged community based on an environmental science narrative. And that's a social health narrative, which touches on something called epigenetics. And epigenetics is behavioral science. And this gets to environment. And so we are very clear. I teach at UCLA, I teach at USC, I taught for a number of years in the community college district. We are very clear that education is the game changer, and that that's an awareness narrative. And we are very confident that through this neighborhood council model now being developed with the Department of Health Services for Los Angeles County, for unincorporated parts of the county, can now become a national model for how transparency and accountability can connect a lot of dots that are now disparate.
Woo! Technical difficulties are really something. I have had such times on this time I don't understand. You guys are my geniuses. And definitely this creates the all-knowing, all-being what is needed. Now, we have two guests on, and I know they're very excited about what they've heard. I would love to have Wayne come on and introduce his guests, because I know they're going to have some questions for you gentlemen. So, Wayne, are you ready to come on? And Mr. Harrell, are you guys ready to come on with some questions for the gentlemen?
Yes, greetings, peace and love. And I'm super thankful to be a part of this platform, this space, and this conversation, because I definitely know it's at a vital time where the education, the mindset, the leadership is needed. And we have the technology and the connectivity and the communication skills to bring all of these things into the forefront, into existence of what we're looking for, what we're asking for, and we have a solution. And I'm just excited. I want to introduce Mr. Sam Harrell, who has been a mentor and advisor of mine, a partner and a brother who's not only through technical genius, but also spiritual integrity, where we understand the laws of the universe are allowing all of these dots to be connected. So all of our different gifts, all of our different skills, all of the different places and experiences we've been having, we get an opportunity for them all to come together and be brought into one common place that could be communicated and distributed effectively. So I'm honored to be able to allow him to share his background, his experience working with NASA, and just an opportunity to have experience in business where we can help our economics. So not only the mindset of the students that we're working with, but also empower tools that give them an opportunity to earn an income and a living for themselves. So I'll pass it over to Mr. Sam Harrell.
Greetings, everyone. I appreciate this opportunity to join you in this Zoom call. I decided to show my face just to let you know that this picture behind me is it says I'm the real person behind that picture. So I thought I'd make myself live. But I've been working in technology for a number of years. My first opportunity was back in 1974 when I went to the South Pacific working for the space program, and ultimately led me to the South Atlantic, where I was a part of the Apollo-Soyuz space mission as a telemetry specialist. And then from there, went to Goddard Space Center in 1978, where I met my wife, by the way, and worked at Goddard in technology on the first space shuttle test launch. But I've done a lot of other things since then. I have started my own business and janitorial company in Colorado Springs, which was successful. We started with a $1,500 investment, turned it into $2.5 million inside of 5 years. We turned around and we sold that business and got into technology again. I got to call it a wild, if you will, because that's my desire to work in technology. Started the very first e-commerce solutions business in the janitorial supply industry called FlexNet. And then ultimately, FlexNet fell apart because .com's bombed. So we took a big hit, $1.5 million lost in that. But that's not what it's about. We're in this. We're entrepreneurs. We understand the gamble. We understand the risks we take, and we keep refocusing ourselves on the goal. It's about the journey. It's really about getting there and make ourselves available to do the things we must. The short order, I've developed a couple of technologies since then. I've aligned myself with a number of technology companies, with whom I have market affiliate relationships with, and so I make money, they make money. It's good. But also one of the things I've come to appreciate in all this growth is I've looked around and I looked at my neighborhood. I see my young Black brothers and sisters having struggles trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. And if you can look at my face, you'll say that at least if I got more than 50 years in this world. And what that basically translates to for me is when I came along, there weren't a lot of mentors available in my community to help me to get to the place where I wanted to go. That's one of the things I've recognized was short, unavailable to most of our young folks today. So I met Wayne about almost 2 years ago now. Yeah, almost 2 years. How about that? And so we made a connection. I developed a new program called the Annuity, and that's fundamentally what we're working on right now. We have this platform that I would like to invite each of you to take a look at, and I'll let Wayne give you our contact details on it. But it's a platform that connects two different technologies, the licenses of which I own, and we're able to frame that technology, integrate that technology with each other. We connect them in such a way that they communicate directly with each other, and they give access to these young folks in our community the kind of access they need without having to spend a chunk of money to get it. And that's what we've been doing, to try to make this economically feasible for young people to get their hands on and to conduct business, do business, be successful in business. And so these two technologies working together will help us to do that. As I listened to the conversations earlier, I think one of the things that came to our mind is that we have all of the connections that you're looking for. We have all the different capabilities to bring together a cohesive technological community that would allow you to communicate with each other, share ideas, discuss matters, post your videos, all these things on this platform, and communicate those through social media and other places you want to commit them to. So I want to invite you to take a look at that. It's at honuatireedirectory.com. And Honua is HONUA tree directory.com. Take a look at that. It'll connect it to the other integrated website as well. But I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this show. I appreciate Wayne inviting me. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll be happy to answer.
Greetings. I'm here, and I just wanted to say, if you guys can hear me, we are very delighted to have this gentleman here, and I hope you all took the information for how to reach him. I do have the link itself, and I have checked it out, and I definitely do want to get a full presentation of how the link actually works, because we do need to create somewhat of a directory. We have over 50 people related to this pipeline, this 50-state pipeline. It's over about 50 of us, and that's just kind of concentrated on the West Coast. So we definitely want to see how that goes. I would like for everybody to make sure they get the phone numbers. We got Wayne's number, so we'll make sure TJ has it, make sure Michael has it, so we can have some other offline conversations. But in the meantime, you guys go outside, let Brad Carson in, and I think we're about a few minutes in on this. So we got another video we're going to show, and then we're going to let Brad Carson in, and then we'll be right back. So if there's another video ready, Dion, please load that up, and we'll be coming back shortly, okay?
The number and complexity of challenges facing our world can be overwhelming. When individual organizations attempt to tackle the most daunting problems, success stories are all too rare. Many innovative approaches have been tried, too few have worked. However, when organizations work together under the right conditions, they can accomplish great things. One particularly effective means of collaboration is collective impact. Using the collective impact approach, a number of complex social challenges have been addressed, and some remarkable results have been achieved. Youth incarcerations dropped by 45% in just 3 years, with no change in public safety, improving the lives of thousands of youths. 6,000 public housing residents were placed in new jobs during the recession. More than 1,000 acres were restored and over 280 million pounds of pollution voluntarily reduced to conserve and restore a river. Organizations utilizing a collective impact approach do the following: agree to a common goal, agree to track progress in the same way, which allows for continuous improvement, do what each does best while identifying new ways to work together, have consistent communication, and finally, have skilled and dedicated resources to support ongoing efforts. The world's toughest challenges aren't going away. In fact, many experts predict they will continue to grow in both number and complexity. Solving these problems requires a range of expertise from a number of diverse organizations. Collective impact is a proven approach, helping organizations work together to move mountains.
He's coming back. It's getting late. He leads the way. He will provide.
mute myself. I tell you, life is really great. So I understand this has been an hour-long show. And so I want you all to know you can reach me, Lady Crystal Davis Wells, at area code 626-496-7496. Again, 626-496-7496. I can get you connected with all four of those wonderful gentlemen, Brother TJ Lofton, Brother Michael Rendler, Brother Wayne Lyons, and Brother Sam Harrell. Wonderful, wonderful messages. And they are all working together with this collective impact. So coming up, our next show after this is going to be our friend and brother, Brad Carson, bringing us nothing but the word. So you stay tuned for more of this show coming right after this next message. All right. Peace and blessings, love, light, and honor. Thank you for tuning in. And if there's anything we can do for you, let us know. $1,000,000march.us is the website. $1,000,000march.us is the website. So, TJ, I want to tell you thank you. And if you have closing remarks, please by all means come in and say something right about now on how they can reach you. And same with you, Michael, how everyone can reach you. Give your closing remarks, please.
You can reach me at gentrification.com. Again, TJ Lofton at gentrification.com. Get my book. Also, I'm Lofton Impala Parts. You can go to loftonimpalaparts.com for the automotive industry. Pick up a copy of my book at gentrification.com.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to get a hold of me is LinkedIn. My name's spelled Michael, Michael, last name Rendler, Rendler. There's only one on LinkedIn, believe it or not. And, you know, if you really want to know what I'm talking about, you can get our book, Terrestrial Architecture. It's written by my son, second generation. He and I have worked together the last 5 years after he finished his graduate work at Harvard. So we're very concerned about this big idea that we're talking about, and I'm really honored to be on the panel with TJ, a wealth of knowledge, and I think this is going to go a long way.
Likewise.
So, Crystal, am I on this panel?
I want to say to you two, I can see the elbow, and I bet I know who's it belonged to. But I want to say to you, TJ and Michael, this platform is open. This is the first of a series, and we're going to go at least for 6 more weeks. This platform will be open at 3:00 p.m., and I would love for you all to continue that, if that's okay. TJ and Michael, and then Wayne, you all are very, I want to say you'll have that privilege coming from your sister, Crystal Davis Wells. And I would be honored, most definitely honored to have you guys. So I'm not going to go any more into our show, but I do want to thank our brother, Brad. Now you guys are welcome to continue on with Brad. If he wants to include you guys, this is his hour. And it's his choice how y'all want to bring all this in. It was very great to have the dynamic 3 team brothers here. You guys, I know, can change the world. So definitely, by all means, you guys, you're in the hands of Brad Carson. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my hour. I want you all to know you have been entreated with the best. We will be back for more of these brothers. So y'all stay tuned. But right now, my hour is up.
I don't believe in impeding on people.
Thank you.
I impeded on yours.
Yeah, I would have to deal with Crystal on that one.
What's up, family?
Well, I gave you my card. Feel free.